Welcome to my world, where you will experience an atmosphere of love, relevant subjects, and motivation. So let's talk about things that matter. What matters to you matters to me. If someone hurts me or cause pain in my life, do I have to trust them again? Is that a requirement? Why don't we talk about that today as we close out our series, The Art of Healing. I am your host, Henry Harris. You're watching the Brother Henry and You Show. We're going to go into part 4 of our series, The Art of Healing. And I believe that today's episode will really help us to understand what forgiveness is. Unfortunately, a lot of people, a large amount of people don't even know what forgiveness is. So hopefully this will help many of us to understand what it is and what it isn't. And I do believe that by large, many people even have a distorted view of forgiveness. And if you do have a distorted view or image of forgiveness, you're more likely to fall into that trap of believing that because somebody's hurt you, that means you can give them access to your life again. Y'all can be buddies again. That's a distorted picture of forgiveness. They often find themselves being hurt again and again and again by being betrayed, misused, and it becomes a cycle because we have convinced ourselves that I need to reconnect and trust the person who is the source of pain or caused the pain in my life. And my friend, that is so far from the truth. That is so far from the truth. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're obligated to trust them ever again. Did you hear what I said? Forgiveness doesn't mean that you're obligated or under any type of requirement or obligation that you need to trust them again. If they've hurt you, you have the right to say that, hey, I do forgive you, but I don't trust you. And the fact that you made the decision to forgive them, I applaud you for that. Because some people don't forgive. Why not? They have their reasons. I don't judge them. They have their reasons. Maybe they're still hurt. Maybe they're still not over what they did to them. But that don't mean you have to reconnect with the person who caused the pain. That's dangerous. You're not under any obligation to do so. We can forgive someone and never trust them again. I've had people come in my life that have hurt me and done me wrong. And I used to have that mindset that because I forgave them, that I need to reconnect and get back into their life. And not only that, but to even trust them again. And when I found myself doing that, you know what happened? They hurt me again and again and again and again. And you eventually have to get to the point of asking yourself, how many times do I have to keep extending my trust out or being naive to keep finding myself being hurt? How many times do I have to be hurt to say enough is enough? How many times I have to experience pain in my life from this person to say, okay, I've had enough pain. I will never trust you again. I do forgive what you did to me, but I'll never trust you ever again. Some would say, well, that doesn't sound too loving, Brother Henry, that you would say that you can forgive someone and never trust them again. But what you fail to realize is that by doing so doesn't make you bitter, it makes you better. And what happens is, this is you making that decision of forgiving them but never trusting them again. That doesn't come from a heart of bitterness. It comes from a heart of boundaries. And my friend, you need to know the difference. Many times we end up hurt because we don't have boundaries. So if you don't have boundaries, you need to create some boundaries. Who are you connecting yourself with? Who are your friends? Who are in your inner circle? This is important. Boundaries are important. And sometimes when you say things like that, people automatically assume, well, he must be hurt, or she must be hurt, or they must be bitter because they didn't trust him again. No, I'm not bitter. I'm better. I'm better because I made that decision. I'm better because I won't find myself in that cycle ever again. It doesn't come from a heart of bitterness. It comes from a heart of boundaries. We'll talk about boundaries close to the end of the show. I have always said that when someone violates your trust, you have a choice. Number one, you can extend that gift of trust back to them. Or number two, you don't have to. It's just that simple. If you violated my trust, if I trusted you, whether you're a friend or whoever you're watching, if I trusted you, which means if I put my full confidence in you and I believed in you, we have a bond, and you violated that, I can forgive you but never trust you again. I have the choice, if I want to reconcile with you. We'll talk about that here in a second too. To reconcile with you or reconnect with you, that would be my choice. Not your choice, that would be my choice. You don't get to determine that. The person who's hurt you don't get to determine reconciliation. You get to determine that. You get to decide that. It's a choice. If you violate my trust, I can extend that gift of trust back to you, or you can say, I will never trust you again. Trust is earned. Have you heard that before? I think that is one of the biggest lies I've heard in my lifetime. That trust is earned. And the reason why I say I don't believe in that, let's just say, for example, that a married couple, for an example, let's say one spouse had an affair on the other spouse. Let's say he had an affair on her. And let's say that she tells him, okay, I do forgive you. I will trust you again, but you have to earn my trust. That means that he has to have or go through a process of certain expectations for her to finally earn his trust, her trust again with him. Well, this is why I don't believe in the earn thing. I'm going to tell you why. When will she finally get to the point of saying within herself, okay, I fully trust you again without judgment, retaliation, or even having the thoughts in the back of her mind, what if he does this to me again? Think about that. Is it truly earned? If she said, I trust you again, but you have to earn it, when do you finally get to the point where you fully can trust somebody again who's hurt you? It's impossible. Or she can say, okay, you had an affair on me, I don't trust you again, I'm wiping my hands from you, we're done. That's just a whole lot easier. Instead of setting up expectations, oh, I forgive you, I'll trust you again, give me your phone, let me go through your Facebook messages, all these expectations, and guess what? You're just setting yourself up for an epic failure. Because you will never, ever, ever be able to fully trust them again. Forgiveness means letting go of the rope of pain. It means that you no longer give that person who hurt you or caused the pain in your life the power. It's time for you today, my friend, to take that back. Take that power back. It don't belong to the abuser. It belongs to you. Take it back. And when you hold on to unforgiveness, I just got to be real with you, you're actually holding on to that rope of pain. You're not letting it go, what happened to you. You're always reflecting on it. You're always talking about it. It's a war going on inside of your mind. You don't want to deal with that. You got to let that rope go. You got to release yourself. The person who's caused the pain in your life, they went on about their business. And that's just the truth, to be honest. They went on about their business. They're not even worrying about you. They're probably going around hurting other people. So sometimes we lose sleep because you're left with the pain. They're not in. Sometimes the abuser is in pain, and that's why they cause pain on other people. But they went on hurting other people. Don't lose sleep over that. So I will even go a little further to say that forgiveness doesn't even require reconciliation. I mean, let's face it, it'll be nice if that did happen. I've been in situations where I've reconciled or joined myself back with that person, depending on the circumstances, but reconciliation requires both parties together to work it out. It requires both parties. The perpetrator doesn't determine reconciliation. They don't. They don't get to decide on forgiveness or reconciliation. This also requires you to admit or own what you've done. What did you do? This doesn't mean you can say things like, well, if I hurt you or if I caused any pain. And here's the thing, you're lying. Because to even say, well, if I hurt you, if I caused pain, if I did this, if I did that, the truth is that you did it and you're hiding behind, well, if I hurt. No, it's not if I hurt you. This is how you own it. I did hurt you. And not only that, let me tell you the pain that I've caused towards you. You can't reconcile with someone or reconnect with someone if you're not able to admit what you've done to them or the pain that you've caused in that person's life. The if is not going to work. You have to own your stuff. Taking ownership means that I've caused pain and I admit and take full ownership, complete ownership of my actions, of my behaviors. You cannot expect reconciliation. That's if the one who was hurt is open for that, if you're not willing to admit what you've done. Here's another interesting perspective. Reconciliation is not for the person who was hurt, but more for the person who initiated the hurt. This means that the person who caused the pain cannot give you an ultimatum or a deadline to work things out. They don't have a right or the authority to do that. Only you do, if you want to. It's always a choice. Even to want to reconcile is a choice. If the person who forgave you decided not to reconcile and cut all ties with you, whether you like it or not, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that because you should have thought of what you did in the first place. Sometimes forgiving others without giving them access to your life again helps you on your journey of healing. If you're trying to heal and somebody's hurt you, why reconnect with them? You're healing from that person. They're like a virus in some instances. Why would you want to get back with a virus? You just got healed from that. Why you want to get back in a toxic relationship, a toxic friendship, a toxic environment? Why put yourself in situations that you say you want to be healed from, but you keep finding yourself back in those same situations? There's a reason why they will never trust you again. And you may be wondering, why won't they trust me again? There's a reason why they won't trust you again. There's a reason why they refuse to reconnect with you. There's a reason why they refuse to reconcile with you. It is for my healing. I don't want to reconcile with you. I will never trust you again. We will never reconnect, buddy. And there's a reason why I'm doing this, because I am trying to heal. I don't need more pain in my life. I'm trying to be healed from the pain that you've caused. I forgive you, but I don't trust you again. Being naive and gullible, thinking it will never happen again, will only create more pain in your life. You are literally inviting pain in your life when you do that. Some of us are naive, or we've been that way at one time. We're naive, we're gullible, we believe everything. We believe everybody. We believe every connection is authentic. It's not. Remove yourself from people, places that creates pain for your healing. Sometimes I wonder if we created boundaries, if it would save us from potential hurt. Now, don't misunderstand me. I am not saying creating boundaries will keep you from being hurt. You can have boundaries and still get hurt. But it will prevent future hurt if we learn how to open these things right here. Open our eyes and open our minds. Can we talk about boundaries? I said we would talk about that. Boundaries are essential for healthy connections and relationships. Why are boundaries important, and how can we set boundaries? Setting boundaries are important because it protects you from being hurt again. And we set boundaries by, number one, being direct, being honest, and creating space to heal. That's how we set boundaries. Many people don't create boundaries, which as a result causes more pain and hurt in their life. You don't have no boundaries. Can I give you an example of what boundaries is? Let's just say this card right here, it's a charger. Let's say this card is right here. And let's say that this is your boundaries. And your boundaries start right here and they end right here. These are your boundaries. So let's say a person comes in your life and they starts right here. And you have boundaries. And you tell them, okay, my boundaries stop right here. You know what that means? You get to decide if you let them step over those boundaries or tell them that they will not violate those boundaries. That's up to you. They have to stay within your boundaries, within, right in here. Not over this. That's going over somebody's boundaries. It's a limitation. You have to respect your boundaries. And when people come into your life, they have to respect you as a person. They have to respect your boundaries. If they can't do that, they don't deserve to be in your life. So here's a quote that I really love. I saw it on Google and I said, you know what, I'm going to quote this. Lack of boundaries invites lack of respect. People who don't create boundaries, you're actually inviting people to disrespect you. So it's important to create boundaries. No matter how you do that, create boundaries, because when you do so, people will tend to have more respect for a person who creates boundaries. And again, they may not like that you're creating boundaries, but it's for your own protection from being potentially hurt again. Love cannot exist without boundaries, so it is vital to start setting up standards and boundaries for your own protection. Setting boundaries is also an important aspect of love, self-care, but when you lack boundaries, it only shows that you have very little love or very little respect about yourself. So always keep in mind, as we go to a close, that setting boundaries doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a courageous person. Thank you for watching this series on the art of healing. I really hope you enjoyed it.
Hi, if you like what you've seen today, be sure to connect with Brother Henry at www.facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show. And also be sure to check out and subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We hope that this has been a blessing to you, and we hope to hear from you soon. Keep watching, because what matters to you matters to Brother Henry.